Okay. Welcome, students. My name is Dr. Charles Oboekirigwe of Alex Ekwueme Federal University, Ndufu Alike, Nigeria. Today, we are introducing the course. The course code, of course, you know, is Ent301. And the topic today, we are going to have an overview of entrepreneurship. Overview of entrepreneurship. As we know, entrepreneurship is a phenomenon that takes several forms and appears in small and large firms, in new firms and established firms, in the formal and informal economy, in the legal and even in illegal activities, in innovative and traditional concerns, in high-risk and low-risk undertakings, and in all economic sectors. This is the introduction given by OECD 1998. Okay? Secondly, we know that Fisher and Nijkamp aver that entrepreneurship is a multifaceted phenomenon that can be viewed from different angles, stressing further that entrepreneurship has been a topic of long-standing concerns in economics, but there remains little consensus on the concept. As you know, there are about 99 definitions of entrepreneurship, of which 44 is accepted for deliberations and teachings. But it is a concept that carries a lot of dimensions, and it is important that we look at them. Several scholars have looked at entrepreneurship from different perspectives.
10 minutes.
Okay, ranging from sociologists, psychologists, anthropologists, the economists, and down to the business management faculties in which the study is domiciled. Okay, so, but for us to also remind ourselves that it is the works of Richard Cantillon, who was an Irish economist in the 18th century. He was the man that derived the word entrepreneurship from the French word entreprendre, meaning to undertake, and it is used to describe a risk bearer. When he used it as a technical economic term, still stands as the root of entrepreneurship today. That is the root from which the English word derived the word entrepreneurship. Okay, before we distinguish between entrepreneurship and the entrepreneur, we note in that entrepreneurship is what the entrepreneur does. Entrepreneurship is the activity the entrepreneur undertakes. And from the initial translation, diverse definitions of the entrepreneur also abound, such as Joseph Schumpeter, who said that an entrepreneur is an individual who develops something new. Okay? Calland et al. In 1884 also view an entrepreneur as an individual who establishes and manages a business for the principal purpose of profit and growth. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, you cannot remove profit and growth. From back at the back of the entrepreneur, he knows that what he's going to do is to make profit and for the growth of that idea that he had initiated. Okay, there are so many, when you look at books, entrepreneurship books, we don't need to belabor that. There are so many definitions we have of entrepreneurship. Now we'll talk briefly on entrepreneurial abilities and what it takes to be an entrepreneur. That will help our students or whoever is listening to me today to imbibe this concept of entrepreneurship that has become a global phenomenon and the way out of economic hardship and all the problems that we face today. Okay? You know, we have different legal forms of business, including e-business herein explored. And entrepreneurship involves the nexus of two phenomena: the presence of lucrative opportunities, that is the number one, and the presence of an enterprising individual. The nexus, that is it. When there is an opportunity and there is nobody with entrepreneurial abilities, that opportunity will be wasted. But when the opportunity comes and you have an entrepreneurial person that can tap into that opportunity, that is what we are talking about. We gave an example in class of one of our students in our first year of introducing the course in our university, who comes from a place where they have perennial lack of water. And after we finished teaching, this boy identified that he can partner with people. Though he had no money, he went to the urban city. He entered into a partnership with a borehole drilling company, and they came to their place where people used to trek hundreds of miles to go and fetch water. They opened a borehole. He invited the old mother and the sister. They began to operate this borehole center, 20 naira per bucket, 20 naira per bucket. Before the year could come up to 6 months, he was able to recoup the money, paid back to those people, and they became comfortable. So entrepreneurship is something you do. Entrepreneurship is embodied in the entrepreneurial process that flows from the entrepreneur's mind. That is what an entrepreneur does. So we see that entrepreneurs are innovators and developers who are capable of identifying specific and viable opportunities, taking advantage of such opportunities and turning them into viable and marketable ideas. Okay? To that end, a few of the specific things they do in the society are: number one, entrepreneurs are innovators and developers. Number two, entrepreneurs add value in the form of time and money, efforts and skills by accepting the risk of competitive market. Number three, entrepreneurs implement new ideas and exploit opportunities which hitherto would have gone unnoticed by the society. Number four, entrepreneurs generate employment opportunities in the face of increasing and challenging unemployment levels. Unemployment levels are, especially in Africa, things you cannot imagine now. So one cannot afford but engage in entrepreneurial ventures. Number five, entrepreneurs see change as normal and healthy in the society. The reason for which they normally focus their productive energy on doing things differently and most times doing better what had already been done. That is innovation. Entrepreneurship allows for innovation. In those days when we were on campus, you see that what we used were only benches, long benches. Entrepreneurs came up with the idea of these plastic seats we use today that are more comfortable, that students can sit in the class, they can bend down and bend backwards and relax and study their lectures in a very good environment. Okay? Then again, we come to characteristics of individuals who are more likely to succeed in business, and that is entrepreneurship. Number one, the first characteristic is that you must be motivated. Motivation is key in entrepreneurship. Motivated individuals possess the mental and physical drive to succeed. Such people are capable of choosing their own tasks and accomplishing them with minimal or no guidance at all. So you can drag a horse to the water, but you cannot force it to drink. If one is not motivated to venture into entrepreneurship, whatever you are teaching, whatever you are saying will not make any sense to that individual. Number 2, confidence. Confidence. Entrepreneurs exhibit firm belief in their capabilities and chances of succeeding in achieving their set objectives. Number 3, the willingness to take calculated risk. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. That is one of those things. A real entrepreneur always has the readiness to sacrifice financial security where needed in order to accomplish their perceived idea. Number 4, ability to take decision. Ability to take decision. This is very, very key. No entrepreneur can do well if you are very docile. But it is not everyone that has the talent to analyze complex situations and to arrive at the conclusion that will make the business to succeed. You should have that ability to take decision and step out. Okay, number 5 is human relations. This means the ability to get along with other people and be able to inspire confidence, teamwork, and cooperation. You know, there is what we call angel investors. In every community, there are people who are angel investors, people who are ready to see a young man or woman striving for success, and they will come and assist. If you relate with people very well as a young or even an old entrepreneur, and you are building goodwill around what you are doing, you will attract people that will help you. And last of this is communication skills. Communication skills. An entrepreneur must have the ability to express him or herself. Should be able to understand other people and share ideas with them. Should be able to approach somebody, be able to say, this is what I'm doing, these are the advantages of what I'm doing, and it will help a lot. So, what are some of the common characteristics of entrepreneurs that we can add to what we have just talked about? Having a positive attitude to both life and issues of life. If you are always negative, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. If you have a very poor mental picture of yourself, you can't be an entrepreneur. You must be willing to take initiative and calculated risks. You must have a strong sense of commitment. You're having a spirit of adventure and having a strong need for personal achievement. Entrepreneurs are people who have need for personal achievement. As they just say, inherited wealth does not command the respect for personal achievement. That is entrepreneurs. Even if his father is a billionaire, he wants to make a mark on his own. He wants to stand and can say at the end of the day, this is what I have achieved. This is what I have done. Being innovative, versatile, and creative. Being persistent in any endeavor. You must be persistent, yes. You may venture out and you have obstacles. For those that are not initially entrepreneurs, the tendency to run away will be there. But for the entrepreneur, at the back of his mind, he knows that it is not over until it is over. That is what entrepreneurs do. Being willing to adapt and respond to changing situations or environment. Okay, we will end this session today with some of the imperatives of entrepreneurship for Nigerian youths. I've always tried to point out this so that it helps us to not to sit or wait for government jobs that are no longer available. Government jobs are no longer available, and surveys have revealed critical and imperative reasons why young Nigerians should go into entrepreneurship. Number 1, we know that the current population of Nigeria is estimated to be well over 250 million people. Over 60% of Nigerian population is made up of young people who are below the age of 35. So if you calculate that, about 80% of these youths are either unemployed or underemployed. Indeed, Nigeria has the largest army of unemployed and underemployed youths in Africa. Okay? Today, 1 out of every 3 Nigerians is either unemployed or underemployed. Whereas people like Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook fame, Google founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page became billionaires within the ages of 26 and 36, given the conducive infrastructural facilities and through the entrepreneurial process. The Nigerian graduate can perform such feats if they imbibe the opportunity-driven mindset of an entrepreneur. The imperative of entrepreneurship in Nigeria is that today, with the exception of electricity and poor infrastructure, the third biggest problem confronting our nation is youth unemployment. Okay? Our tertiary institutions dump over 300,000 graduates into the labor market every year, and most of these are neither skilled nor have hope of any jobs. The World Bank in 2003 states that job creation in Nigeria has been inadequate to keep pace with the expanding working age population. That was what the World Bank survey reveals that we should also not look back from. There are over 5 million young boys and girls with their NYSC discharge certificates roaming about the nooks and crannies of this country searching for jobs that do not exist. These jobs are not existing. Some have spent 5 years, 6 years upon graduation, carrying files, walking the streets of Abuja and Lagos, not getting anything to do. The way out is to step into entrepreneurship. Find a niche, have an idea of something that you can lay hand on, and take some of these steps we have listed here, and you will make it. Where jobs in Nigeria are scarce and provided only by government, with the heart-rending consequences that it is mostly those who are connected to the men in authority that get few jobs that fall due. This is the reality. This is record from the study that World Bank conducted. It is only people who are connected that get jobs. Foreign embassies are jammed with Nigerian youths seeking visas to get out of the country because of the scourge of unemployment. Jails in Europe, Asia, and almost all continents of the world are filled with teeming Nigerian youths who are incarcerated for one crime or the other because they left in search of jobs for survival. I remember when I attended a research conference in Bangkok, Thailand, and our young men that suffered, some even went through the desert, I don't know how they got there, being pursued by police left and right. And the restaurant where I went to eat, I don't know how some of these boys knew that I was an Igbo man. That was when I cried. They began to speak to me in our local language. They said, agụ egbuola yo, agụ egbuola yo, ndị polisi na-achụgharị anyị. They nyere anyị aka. That is the situation we see. Many Nigerian female graduates have turned to prostitution as a means of survival, while many of the youths engage in crimes of various dimensions. The gravest implication of this youth unemployment is that the younger generation of Nigerians are now being discouraged from becoming educated. That is the worst part of it. Okay? And youth unemployment has maligned our families and debased our educational system. So it is important that we imbibe entrepreneurship. Thank you. Thank you very much for this side.
Okay.
So we are done with